Hello, Giuseppe here. In this video we will take it step by step and go through the process of adding clouds. You may have noticed this is my desktop picture I took several years ago. It was a beautiful day, but a very plain blue sky. Later, when I learned the process of adding clouds, I thought I'd try it on this picture to see how it looked, and I was pleased with it. So I've pursued that since then with certain pictures that I do believe adding clouds will really enhance the picture. So let's give it a try. As you undoubtedly notice, the narration, if you can call it that, is very informal. Try to make it as natural as possible. The first step, of course, is to load the photo, which we've done. So actually step one is what I will call the next process here. We always need to duplicate the photo that we're working on, and you can do that by keyboard Control J. Okay, over in the layers panel on the right you see another layer here. It's a duplicate of the original picture, so no matter what we do to this duplicate, the original remains intact. The next step is to rename the layer, and that's step 2. So to rename it, we double click on the name of the layer and type in what we want to call it this time, and which in this case is black and white. Hit enter and the name is changed. Now we're going to an adjustment fill layer for step 3. So again, over on the right side, up at the top, this circle that's half filled and half empty creates the new fill or adjustment layer. So we'll click on that, and we're going to select the solid color, which brings up this screen. We could use this slider for selecting the green that we want, but with 255 as the maximum value of a color, if we click twice in this square represented by the G for green, we can type in 255. That gives us the maximum green available, but make sure also that the red and the blue box here are both set at 0, or we won't get the pure green that we've got now. Okay, when we get that, we can click OK and step on to the fourth step. Again, over on the right side, we are going to normal up here. The drop down box gives us some options. We're going to go to multiply. Left click that. You see the picture turn real pretty green. Alright, that's not our goal, but it's a necessary step in this process. Okay, we're going over to the top here where the layers option is, and we're going to click on that for step 5. So layers, and we need to merge down. What that is it will blend together that option, that mask we added on the right side there to the green, and it will blend them together. So we'll go on down here to merge down. Now that green over there on the right is visible, but the mask isn't. They've merged together. Okay, this next step is obtained from going over here to enhance, and if we go down to adjust color, this is step 6 by the way, if you're keeping track or writing it down. We choose the adjust color, and over on the little sub box that popped up, we want the adjust hue saturation. This can also be gotten by clicking the keyboard Control U. So if you're a keyboard person, which I tend to be, it's a quicker process. Okay, that brings this screen up And what do we do with it? Under Master, we select Greens, and on this slider that adjusts the lightness and darkness, we're going to left click and slide all the way to the right. Notice it removed the green from the picture. Anyway, we click OK, and we're ready to move on to step 7. We'll go back over here to the top, choose Enhance. This time we want Adjust Lighting, and we want the Levels control, which can also be obtained by the keyboard keys of Control and L. That brings up the Levels control. Now our goal here is to slide this dark end of the graph to the right, and our goal is to turn the trees as solid a black as we can without affecting the rest of the picture very much, or if any at all. So I'm going over to the slider, left click and hold it down as I slide to the right, looking at the trees until I see they are, the lightest of the trees are finally solid black. I think that's probably pretty good right there, and we don't want the sky to be black, so we stop there and hit OK. Now we need to make the rest of the picture as black as those trees. So going over to the tool section and choosing the brush tool and making sure that our color boxes are set to black and white with the black on top. Now we're going to paint black. I can change the size of the cursor by the bracket keys that are to the right of the letter P on the keyboard. The right bracket key makes the cursor larger, and the left, of course, makes it smaller. Alright, nice big cursor, and I'm going to paint right across the picture and paint over anything that we don't want clouds appearing through or behind. So when we get up here, I'll use the left bracket key, make this a little smaller so I can get in here in areas like this, the little white areas, doors on the house and the roofs of the houses. We don't want clouds behind them, so they need to be black. And just work through there and get rid of everything except the trees and of course the sky, and our clouds eventually will appear where they should. Having that done, I think we are ready to move on to step 8. Alright, step 8, we do a selection. That's a Control A on the keyboard. See the marching ants around the picture? That shows we have selected it. And now that we've selected it, we want to copy it. So that's the keyboard controls of Control C, as in cat. Alright, we didn't see anything happen, but the picture is now in memory, and we're ready to move on to 9. Okay, we're going over to the Layers panel on the right again here, and we're going to click on the eye of the black and white layer. What that does is turn this layer on or off. It's on right now, and when I click on it with the left click, it's off. This enables us to see the picture behind what was being blocked. So, step 10, we make the background layer active by clicking on it and then duplicate it. Remember, we duplicate by Control J. Now we've made a copy again of that image. Now we're going to rename that new layer Layer 2. So we'll just double click on it and change it to Layer 2. Okay, in step 12 we need to add a layer mask to this layer. A layer mask is above here, this square with the circle in the center of it. If we left click on that, it adds this mask, and we can tell the mask is highlighted or selected by the blue border around it. If we had the picture to the left of that selected instead, it would have the blue frame around it. But we want this mask to be highlighted, so we'll leave that selected and move on to step 13. Now this one can be kind of tricky unless you do it in the right order. I'll read it first and then we'll do it. We need to press the Alt key, hold it down, and also the left click on the mouse while the mouse cursor is located on this mask. So I'll do that now as I speak. We're holding the Alt key down, the left click on the mouse down, and then release both. Alright, the picture seemed to have disappeared, and that's good. Step 14, we're going to simply paste what's in memory on this white image. So put the cursor there on the white image and hit paste is Control V like Victor. Now we've pasted that. Okay, now we have to go over to the right again to the background layer, the actual background layer. Click on that, make sure it's active. Okay, we're ready for step 16. We can delete the marching ants now, and we do that by the keyboard strokes of Control D. Deselect. 17. If we click on Layers 2, like that, and make sure the blue border is around the mask as it is here. And now we're going to invert this mask and turn it inside out or opposite as it is. And that's done by Control I. So I'll hit the Control I keys now, and that inverted that mask. At this stage we're ready with 18, step 18, to place the cloud photo behind these trees. And I say place emphatically because rather than open a photo this time, we're going to place it. So we have to go over to File up here at the top and go down to Place. And of course we have to look for our picture. I have some pictures of clouds here. I'll select that, and I don't know, let's select this right here and go down here to Place. Okay, now we can manipulate this picture by left click on it and drag it where we want to. Actually, I think I like those smaller clouds better. So if we go up this area where they'll be kind of aligned with the sky there instead, we can put that wherever we want. So I think I'll leave it right there. And when we get it positioned, this could have been resized also if it was necessary. It just happened to be the same width as the picture below, but otherwise you can grab a corner and stretch it however size it needs to be. Alright, when this is done, you can left click on the green arrow to accept it. And now step 19, we need to go back over here to the top to Layer, select on Layers, and this time we need to simplify the images. Okay, the simplification is done. Now 20 is where we will left click on the image of the clouds in the Layers panel over here, and we're going to drag it down slowly over this layer, and our indication of when it's far enough is when this line right here appears double, and when that happens we can let go of the left clicker. So right now I'm holding down the left click, drawing it slowly down over the cloud space and watching that line right below here until now it turned double, so I can release the left click on the mouse and our clouds are placed. Actually, that finishes the process. If you want to add a step 21, you could manipulate the clouds by lightness and darkness or density, however he wanted to change it, by making sure this layer on the right is selected. And as an example, if you wanted to bring up your levels control, it would be Control L, and you could go lighter or darker with the sky and the clouds. I'm turning to the right and it's dark. That's obviously too dark. To the right. And some days the clouds aren't that emphatic, so you could lighten them. So using the opposite end, I'm sliding that to the left, and the sky becomes lighter and the clouds more faint. So that's up to you, your option according to what kind of sky you like. But the point is, the clouds are now behind the leaves of all the trees, which would have been nearly impossible to select all the leaves intricately on each edge and place them. So that winds this video up, and I hope I haven't muddled it up too much for you with my stumbling on the words. I just don't like to go by a script. But hope you enjoyed this, and maybe you learned something that you might enjoy doing in Photoshop Elements. Until next time, this is Giuseppe signing off.